I'm disappointed. Sadly, I am considering further arm reduction surgery. Could you remove the side boob skin at the same time as an arm reduction? Is this a specialty area of yours? I am. Great, thank you. Yeah, so first question, could you do it? Yes, you could. Loco lupulus. Arm reduction, you kind of can extend it on here to try and tighten this bit, which might address your problem. It kind of depends on how bad it is. I've got to be honest. So, is it a specialty area of mine? I've got to be honest with you, loco lupulus. Arm reduction is not a common operation for me. I only do breast and body, so I don't do any faces. I don't do any non-surgical. But the majority of my work is kind of breast reshaping, whether it be lifts and whatever, implants and reductions and tummy tucks. Things like arm reductions, thigh lifts are not as common as the breast and tummy surgery because the scar is a little bit obvious. The scar goes down the arm. So in my hands and in my practice, it's only for people who've lost a lot of weight, got a lot of skin there, who will accept that scar, because a lot of people say, I hate my arms, don't want to show them in public. And then I give you a big scar down your arm and you still hate it and you still don't want to show it in public. So it's like, I wouldn't say it's kind of like a specialty area of mine. I wouldn't say arm reduction is a specialty area of mine. I'm not sure if there is anyone who's kind of got a specialty area of arm reduction. Maybe there is, but it's something that I do for sure do. And again, so an arm reduction is only people with a lot of skin. So the thing that you're talking about with the bra strap is really, if you're extending your arm reduction, you kind of would want quite a lot of excess skin in that area. So it's really for people who lost a lot of weight. If it's only modest, then liposuction might be kind of a less invasive, because putting a big scar crossing the axilla can be a bit of an issue. So liposuction obviously is less scarring because you just make little stab incisions. So liposuction will be an alternative way of addressing certainly with the skin here. Not so good with the arm because the skin doesn't recoil, but certainly with the whatever you want to call it, the bra strap fullness could be addressed with liposuction, which might be less invasive than extending the arm reduction. But since you asked the question, yes, you can extend an arm reduction onto the lateral chest wall to tighten that skin. But I would say that's only reserved for people with an awful lot of skin, because it's increasing your risk of complications if you're bringing the scarring onto that area. But it's certainly something that can be done. And it's a balance, and it's having the conversation pre-op so you don't get disappointment post-op. So, obviously liposuction wouldn't remove skin, so there might be some redundant skin there. So you might say, I'm not happy with that. In this case, you can have the excision, but the excision is going to give you a big long scar with more risk of healing problems, etc. So we're always trying to avoid disappointment, to be honest with you, loco lupulus, and it's always not stressful, but sad when someone's disappointed over something, particularly if the surgeon kind of thinks they've done a good result. If the surgeon feels, I've done a great lift with implants, and you're like, yeah, but what about this bit? And he's like, well, that was never going to get fixed. Well, that's a kind of failure of communication, which is sad to get an unhappy patient from a failure of communication. And I'm sorry that you're disappointed with the surgery. If you're disappointed just for that reason, because that was probably never going to be addressed, and you went in thinking it was, which is sad, isn't it? But yeah. So I would say, the problem with all this stuff, like answering stuff on these videos and things, I'll give you kind of ideas in general terms. You kind of need someone to examine you and to talk through the pros and cons. It's very hard to say to someone, yeah, you have an extended one that goes onto your arm. It's like, well, you've got to see someone, you've got to see the skin laxity and talk about the pros and cons, because it's all very well saying, yes, you can do an extended one, but it's like, well, is it kind of worth it for the risks? There's always going to be good things about doing it and bad things about doing it, and you've got to balance that up. And the good things are often judged by you and how much you're bothered by the excess skin. The bad things we can tell you, but the good things only you know. So you have to weigh those bad things against the good things to see whether it's worth doing. Are you going to just do a bit of liposuction, or are you going to extend that arm reduction onto your lateral chest?